Hi everyone, welcome back to another Creative Tap tutorial. In this tutorial what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at how to focus match some elements that we add together in a composite or matte painting scenario. Okay, so I've got my, in previous tutorials we've come from here all the way to here, so we've done our, first of all we did our color correction, and then with this one we just did our little match blacks. Okay, so I'm going to get my ruin, and I think if we turn on this rule of thirds which I drew out, I'll need to hit enter first. If we turn on this rule of thirds, I think I want to have this a little bit smaller in the background, almost just lying on those thirds, but there, just like that. Okay, and hit enter. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so it's quite a bit more in the distance, like that. So let's just hit enter. Now if we zoom in, if you have a look at the pixels on the ground, you can see that, let's just deactivate that, you can see that this is a hell of a lot sharper than all this gravel and these stones in our background. Even to the point where I reckon if we were to bring this ruin over to, over to the plane, I wonder, it may even be more in focus than when it was bigger, I think it was. But these lines on the plane are just as visible as these lines. So if I move that back over, basically because this is in a distance, you wouldn't expect that. So all I'm going to do to focus match this is come over to this point. You can see this is a lot more in focus. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, with this selected now, filter, blur, and Gaussian blur. Okay, now I've got it by default to 0.3 because I think that's what I was using earlier when I was just running through this. If we chuck it to like 2.4, for example, we can tell that's not matching, but when we bring it to absolute 0, it's still a little bit too in focus. These dots are quite a lot sharper than these dots down by here, all right? So I think if I just go up by 0.1, let's turn preview on, that's quite important. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, yeah, I think 0.3 is where now it's fitting a lot better. 0.4, you could go 0.4 as well. 0.3, I think between 0.3 and 0.4, let's go for 0.4, see how it looks. And then what you want to do is you want to zoom out and you want to view the matte painting as a whole like that. And to be honest, that being so far in the distance, there's other stuff that you would need to do to this matte painting to make it work. The lighting direction is a little bit off. The shadows are in the wrong place comparing to where the shadows fall in with the plane, because this is such an overcast shot, you know, very, very overcast. You wouldn't expect to see these harsh shadows. So that's something that's wrong with it. I would build this up also with rubble around it as well, and give it almost like a little contact shadow with the ground, just like the plane. So it's not all the way there yet, but in terms of focus matching it, it's closer. These little dots are now comparable with these little dots as well. So I'm happy now with that. It was literally a 0.4 filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So quite an easy one to do, but it's really important that you do this, because there's nothing worse than seeing like someone's added a tree which is too in focus or too out of focus. It's just a huge dead giveaway. So yeah, hope this little tips tutorial helped you. Tune in again. Cheers.